Okay, let's say 100%. Come on. Great. And how many professional musicians? I mean, you do only music. Okay. I'm not, sorry. Okay, like 1/3, 1/4 of the room. It's quite interesting. Good, okay, tonight, let's see what we get for tonight. Who's Fabio? Yeah, first you introduce yourself, so I think I should introduce myself as well. I worked around some different businesses in different, seemingly important roles for about 15 years, and in different countries around the Balkans, and also in Italy, UK. And I specialize in turnaround of non-performing businesses, which means, when something is not working, that's what I was trying to dissect it, understand it, re-engineer it. And that's what brought me to music, together with my love with music, of music. I'm a guitarist since the age of 14. I played semi-professionally for more than 10 years in different bands, from heavy metal to jazz, and of course, very low level, but still, I had fun. And studied music business with the Berklee School of Music, and I founded Life in Music, whose mission is to support musicians making music their life by creating viable business models. And I also work with music companies that are trying to create new technologies and new ways of discovery for musicians. And we will talk a lot about the duality between music and technology that is, of course, in the last 20 years dominating the music industry. So we answered question number 1 somewhat. So what's the plan today? This presentation will be asking a lot of questions. So, but you are free also to ask a lot of questions. So, of course, raise your hand, interrupt, whatever. I'm here. We are here to talk as much as possible. But for now, let's see what the presentation, what the computer, what Google, artificial intelligence is asking me. I don't know. So we have about 90 minutes, something like that, to talk about some fundamental concepts of business. Because I feel that when we talk about music business, there is a lot to talk about a few business elements, mostly marketing, but there isn't a lot of talk about other business elements. So just a quick overview of what business really means. We're talking about music business, the short history of the ancient music business, which means the one until 1999, and of the present music business, which, as you know, changes every, how often does the music business change, in your opinion? Every 10
years.
10 years. Do we agree? Other opinions?
No, maybe
4 to 5.
Maybe 4 to 5?
Or every day, I think.
Or every day?
So
yeah, they are all right questions.
Well, 2-3 years.
2-3 years? Yeah, wow. I mean, there isn't a right question, but I guess the answers are giving you an idea of the mess that is going on in the music business. A lot of changes is definitely happening. That is absolutely a fact, and we'll go through it. So we'll talk about business models for musicians, so how can musicians build their business model, and then we'll wrap it up. A quick note about the context. We are talking about world trends that are dominating the music industry, okay? And we are fully aware that local realities differ by dimension and speed of change, but trends are the same. So some of these things are fully visible also in Serbia and other countries like Italy. Some are probably developing a bit more slowly. And I think it's great to know them all so that you can take advantage as early as possible about new trends and new technology. Oh, can somebody read the question so that anybody wants to read the question so that we have a fake dialogue?
Hi.
Gaia.
I volunteer. How's the music industry doing?
How's the music industry doing? What do you expect to see on this line? Money. Yes. Cool. Okay.
Major labels are going great.
Dying old man.
Sorry? Major labels
Are doing great.
are doing great. Fair.
A dying old man.
A dying old man. It's fantastic. So let's see what's. Wow, that's the money in the music industry from 97 to 2014. adjusted for inflation. That's something that people that come from finance like myself like to put and to say, because if you don't adjust it by inflation, it seems that the music industry lost half of its value, but when you adjust it by inflation, you see that it lost 2/3, more or less, of its value, basically after the peak in 1998. So let's see what's the next question.
So are we completely screwed?
That's a fair question. A lot of people jump to the conclusion that we are, but we're not. Not completely, at least. I put it completely. Why? This is still from 2014, but it's forecast. From here onwards, you don't see it very well on this screen, but from the red line onwards, it's a forecast. But what it's showing is that it's showing two things. The first and most important, that the overall sales, let's say, value of recorded music, this is only recorded music, okay? So records, downloads, streams, is going back up, and it is happening as we speak. It is starting to go back up, so the trend is inverting, which is amazingly positive. And the other important thing is that, as you can see, until about 2003, there was a monolith, a big stone of one color, physical revenues, which means albums, CDs, and music on physical support. And then it starts getting more colorful. What are these colors? What happened in 2003? Who knows? Who was there? And what happened that changed the color and started to create this? Who remembers? Yeah, iTunes. iPod was introduced in 2001, iTunes for all platforms 2003. And that's when people started massively downloading music legally and paying for it. So, fantastic, completely new business revenue stream for musicians. And then, what happened in 2008? This is more roughly. Spotify happened. So, streaming of music. Again, either you pay or you don't pay, there is some money shared with the artist, we'll talk about that. And a lot of stuff that is going on around Spotify and streaming. So, no questions on this one, okay. Music business. I think we should clarify, today we're talking about business a lot, today, in this event. But at the core of it, there is music. And there are musicians that are born to be only musicians, and musicians that can also handle, at least to a certain extent of complexity, the business side. Both are fantastic, And I'm talking to everybody, whether you have a strong a strong feel for business, or whether you don't have a strong feel for business. I try to cover here some of the big things that I think not scary, are not difficult, and are very important to understand for you to be able, and for musicians in general, to be able then to choose the right partners along the way, the right managers, the right label, the right publishers, and so on and so forth. But somebody, I don't know who, smarter than me, said a little thing about music business that I would like to repeat. With no business, you're left with music. With no music, you're left with nothing. So I think it's worth remembering that the music is at the center of everything, even if today we're not talking about the creative part. Business, so stuff you do need to know, in my humble opinion. So, Gaia.
What are the most fundamental business concepts?
Yeah, the most fundamental business concepts. Let's try to see them. So business starts from an idea / vision. Okay, somebody wakes up and says, wow, I want to go there for very deep reasons. I want to play music around the world. I want to create a company that makes cars that don't use fossil fuel. I want to conquer Mars. I want everybody in 2003 to have their music collection in their pocket. Okay, so big idea that leads to a vision. It's turned into a strategy. You can call it plan. And then the strategy is executed. Very basic stuff, I know, but you cannot believe how much value is lost in forgetting about these three very big and basic things. Because strategy without execution is a dream. You just plan a lot of stuff and nothing happens. Strategy with very smart stuff as well, nothing happens. But execution without strategy is a nightmare. And I've seen this in my experience over and over again. People trying to do a lot of stuff without a big picture, a big plan, a big why. Now that starts from their big why they're doing something. So it's extremely important to focus on both sides, strategy and execution. To have a business, then you need someone to pay you for something. Seems obvious, but you do need somebody to pay you. And you need to spend less than what you earn. I mean, this is the condensed business knowledge that would be enough, in my view. So, sell more, spend less. Again, it seems so obvious, maybe offensive for some of you. But in reality, it's not. I've seen a lot of examples in and out of the music business where the focus was so much on the sales and not on the cost, or vice versa. It was so much to be cost efficient and not worrying about the market and what is going on in marketing and sales. So it's very important to structure a business, any business, your business, another business, in a way that incomes and expenditures are somewhat balanced and sustainable. I met a lot of artists that were very smart on the expenses side. They were not trying to save wherever they could. They were just trying to be smart, to spend where and invest where their business model was leading them. And we'll talk about it. The secret to good business is people. I think this is more for corporate kind of people that forget about the fact that everything is made of people. Musicians normally know this very well. So, the suggestion is to work only with capable people that you like to hang out with. In corporate world, they call it cultural fit, and it's a very fancy topic in the last 10 years, roughly. Basically, people working in big companies realize that it's much nicer to work with people that share your key values in life. And that's why the companies also started to explain what their key values are so that they can recruit people that match those values, and basically working with people that are similar to you is much nicer. I think this happens quite naturally in the music industry, especially for independent artists. You do not you do not need to know everything, okay? But you need to know those who know. I mean, this is one of those little rules that know those who know. And I need to thank my professor of corporate strategy, Andrea Liparini from Bologna, that told me this in 1999, and I used it throughout my career. And it takes a lot of very hard and continuous work to carve a story of success. I mean, there is no passive income anymore. There used to be passive income in the music industry. The big monolith, the blue part, successful act made some good records, and the records kind of sold themselves, and the checks kept coming in. There is no such thing anymore, basically. Not in that dimension.
What's this thing they call market?
What's this thing they call market? Again, we're talking about business in general here. Bear with me for a few more minutes. Market is everything that is outside of you, so it's defined by the question of, what do you provide? To whom? Your clients. Where are they? This is basic marketing stuff. How do you reach them? How will they know about you? So how do you discover new fans in the case of musicians? What happens after the sale? How do you keep them in the loop of what you're doing next? And where is the value in what you provide? Value as perceived by your customers. We're talking business in general, perceived by your fans, in the case of musicians. Because, sometimes it's not so obvious where the fans see the value that you're providing. I mean, maybe you're focused on the composition, on some, spectacular live acts, and the fans do like that. But maybe they resonate with you as a person, or with what you say, with some social stance that you have. So it's very important to know where is the value perceived by your customers.
How do you organize a business?
So these are what we said before. Basically, when you do have a business, you need somebody, or you need some time, if you are alone, to take care of a few things. Strategy, other people you work with, production, obviously music production, or production of shows, or in our industry, production of the products you're selling in other industries, marketing and sales, finance, administration, legal, especially finance and legal in music, they're quite important because there is a horrible, horrible, horrible stratification of regulations that are completely different country from country that makes the whole